What's up, nerds? Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block for January 23rd, 2018. 2018!
Yes!
I'm one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, that retro code, Edward Varnell.
Friday the 13th, the video game, is the Dark Souls and Bloodborne of our time, and Madam Moose needs to play it.
I don't get it.
Friday the 13th, the video game?
It's not the same thing.
Oh, have you played Friday the 13th?
Are you talking about the new one or the NES one?
I'm talking about the NES.
Oh, get out of here. Joining us is finally, again, the Sad Titans fan. Jesse Douglas.
The shade.
Hey, man, I'm sorry. Look, I'm just as mad as Jesse is that the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. Okay, it's just... anyways. Hey, Jesse.
How's it going, guys?
Yes! Jesse's back! Yes! Seems like when Jesse's here, we tend to stay more on track for some reason instead of just out of here. So, before we get started... I know. Yeah, before we get started, I want to kind of do some housekeeping notes. We did record a lot of Nintendo stuff last week. Ed and I are experimenting with the mini block episodes where we take one news topic that maybe we didn't cover in the podcast and kind of make a YouTube video out of it. So Nintendo Mini Block is in the Pow Block playlist on our YouTube page. So like, subscribe, and share, all that good stuff. We are 19 subs away from getting our fancy YouTube URL. So we do, even if you don't watch our YouTube stuff and you just listen to us audioly, that's a word, right?
This is the audio.
You know what? If the president weighs 236 pounds, I can say the word audioly.
In healthy condition.
Yeah. So if you are an audio listen, just click on over to our YouTube page, Nerds Gone Rogue, and subscribe, even if you don't use YouTube all that often. I mean, we do provide most of our shows audio, but we would appreciate that subscribe. So yeah, and then we did we recorded a few expansion packs for this show, and yeah. Ed, do you want to let everybody know about the contest real quick before we get rolling on this episode?
Yes. So, everybody, we have a contest that's going on for Nintendo Pow Block. You guys can win a iHome headset, Super Mario Brothers, that comes with a microphone. But we'd love for you guys to send a question at Nintendo Pow Block and title it... excuse me, everybody. Wasn't set for this part. We want you guys to send us some out there questions for Pow Block, for our expansion pack, and you have until the 27th to send this question in. Like I restated, getting stuff together, and you could go to our Facebook page at Nintendo Pow Block to see how the headphone set looks. It's really cool, a really nice design. It has the old Super Mario Brothers design on it for both sides. So take a look at it. You can email it at nintendopowblock@gmail.com. When you are putting it for the subject, put NPB XPAN, that's EXPAN PK contest. So we'll know that question is for the contest. If your question is picked, you will have not only the show dedicated to you, but you will be the winner of this headset. It's really nice, really cool. So you guys have until this Saturday, January 27th, to get your question in. So good luck to you all who enter the contest, and hopefully one of you guys will be a winner. So think outside the box and let us have your questions, so you can hear it in your next headphone set if you win.
Yeah. Yes. Enter that contest. Subscribe. Rate us. Comment. All that stuff. Yeah. So, okay. So we're going to get into what we've been playing like we always do at the beginning of the show. But Ed, I'm going to start with Jesse because he's not here that often. And I like to hear what Jesse's been playing. Jesse, what have you been playing?
Unfortunately, I haven't played much on Switch lately. But
Ooh, fired. Ed, what are you
Dang.
But I'm gonna change that soon. But let's see. On Xbox, I played my go-to is usually Siege. I play that every once in a while. But I haven't been feeling good lately, so I haven't done much playing of anything really, to be honest. I played some Mutant League Football, the new one that came out, and that's pretty fun. Let's see, what else did I play? There's something else too that I can't think of that I was playing that I don't normally play. I played Ninja Gaiden Black, and that's in the beginning of the last week. It would have been just recently. I did play a little Mario Rabbids, but that's pretty much it for the most part.
Nice. Ed, what about you? What are you cranking up in that old box of yours?
For Xbox, Assassin's Creed Origins. For PlayStation 4, Uncharted Lost Legacy. For my Switch, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Just loving this game, getting further along, getting some new blades, which I have kind of a problem because I'm getting a lot of wind ones. I need some water and some fire, some earth. I need to mix up my party. And they haven't given me new blades just yet. But I'm still fighting, grinding, and getting more in the story. Monster Hunter Stories for my 2DS. I've also been playing. I'm at a part now where I can match different genes, which means that I take a popper from old monster and put in a new monster, and so it changes their abilities and stuff. So I'm enjoying that. Hopefully my Lost Sphere will be coming in sometime this week, so I will let you guys know more about that when it comes in. And also planning on picking up Blossom Tale and giving that game a play. Super Meat Boy, Graceful Explosion Machine, Golf Story, Blaster Master Zero, all fun games that I've been trying out and playing, and just like really enjoying that. Soon I'm going to be jumping back into Fire Emblem Warriors. And then really spend more time in Breath of the Wild because I need to finish that game. Not again, but I just need to finish that game. So yeah, that's what's been in my gaming sphere, I should say.
Your gaming sphere? You have a
Come
sphere
on,
that you play
gaming
games?
sphere.
I was just thinking the same thing. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I'm trying to balance, and I'll probably be writing out a list of games that I need to play and finish because I got too many.
I know, dude. There's so many games. There's too many. Like, there's seriously too many games, and like, we haven't even had any games come out yet, and there's too many.
Exactly.
I've been really diving back deep into Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I'm in the second world. I'm probably like 2/3 of the way through the second world. Man, that game's fun, and it's starting to, like, the difficulty is starting to pick up. Like, you know, that first world, it's pretty simple, right? And I'm at the part where I just got the Mario Rabbid Mario, and like, he's kind of like a tanky character. He takes a lot of hits, so like, I'm excited to see how I utilize him. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to get rid of either Luigi or Luigi Rabbit, and I don't really want to because Luigi Rabbit is amazing as a character. He's not like great in combat, but he's hilarious as a character. So I've been really, really, really diving back into that game. Man, that game is so good. Even if you're not a fan of strategy games, like I wish that game had a demo. Like that game would benefit so much from a demo, and I wish people would like really give it a shot. It's super good. I've been playing Box Boy again on 3DS.
Yeah.
Because one night I was playing Switch and I fell asleep with it on me and it died because one day I was like, oh, I want to play my Switch. Oh, it's dead. I got to charge it. So I busted out my 3DS and like Box Boy jumped out. I was like, I like that game. And there's a rumor that it's coming to Switch at some point. So like, why not? And man, Box Boy is really good. It's $5, people. If you own a 3DS, it's $5. It's $5. Don't drink coffee for one day, and you will be able to buy Box Boy. It's so good. What else have I been playing? Oh, Super Meat Boy. Man, that game is good. I love it. I just like it's a little it's a little floaty. Like it's a little floaty, but the levels are so well designed, and like the levels are so small and so compact, and you want to get an A+, and most of the levels are like they're literally anywhere between 5 and 10 seconds long are the levels, and you have to find the best way through to get that A+, and it tells you how much time you need to get under to get an A+. But then there's also the band-aids in the level that you have to collect.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how do I get that timer plus get the Band-Aid? Can I get the Band-Aid and then get the timer down? And yes, you can. You can finish the level by getting the Band-Aid, and then you can replay the level to get the timer down. So that's helped me get a lot of A+. But that game is really good. I love Super Meat Boy, and I played it a little bit when it was on PS4. Like it came to PS4, and I was like, I like it, but not right now. And I was really into N++ at the time, so I was like, N++ feels better. But like N++ isn't on Switch, so Super Meat Boy it is. Please, Nintendo, let N++ come to Switch, please. Like, just oh, that game's so good. And I turned on my PS4 today to download some updates, and N++ had a DLC, had like free DLC today. I was like, oh, sweet. And so like I would like to jump back into that game at some point, but.
And it's on. I think it's on the PSN flash sale.
Yeah, it's literally like $3.50 right now.
And I don't know if I should get it. I kind of want to wait for the Switch version.
I know, dude. I wait for the Switch version. It's coming. Like I've been like it's one of those games that I've been following for a while, and I'm like, oh, that Switch version's gonna be cool. And I know there's gonna be some kind of weird physical copy for it too. And if it does, I will have to.
Double dip.
Yeah, like honestly, I'll have to. I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's that game is. Those games are just like they hit the right spot of like, man, this feels so good once you complete it. And like,
yeah,
the game is hard enough by itself, but there's extra challenge by trying to collect every single gold thing, like the gold specs in that game, and it's like. They have like so many different obstacles that it's like, how do I do this? How do I do this? Oh, it's so good. Oh, N++ so good. Super Meat Boy is really good too. And I've been playing the End Is Nigh, which is by the same. It's like part. I don't really know how it goes. You have to listen to NGR Radio proper to have Matt like really flesh it out for you. But it's somehow connected to the team of Super Meat Boy. I think like Team Meat split into like two teams, and one side made Binding of Isaac, and then the other side made The End Is Nigh. Like somehow all three of these games are connected, but they're not part of the same team. I don't know. I don't understand it.
Did the two creators split up?
That might be it too. Like that might be it too, where like they split and made their own separate games. But I've been playing that too, and like it's pretty good, but like I wish I would have finished it before Super Meat Boy, because Super Meat Boy is the far superior game in my opinion. Like it's just way better. And not that the end is not is bad or anything, but Super Meat Boy, if you're gonna pick one, Super Meat Boy's better.
It just doesn't hold the weight. Like it's just not holding your interest.
Yeah,
I see that.
And then if you listen to NGR Radio, you know that Moose is obsessed with this game called Earth Atlantis, and I've been dabbling in that as well. And like I thought it was like this Metroidvania style submarine games, kind of like Song of the Deep. Remember that game that came out a couple years ago?
Yes.
But it's not. It's a roguelike, and you have to like, you know how roguelikes are. You just kind of do what you need to do until you die, and then you start over or whatever. And like, I don't really care for roguelikes, but this game has me intrigued enough to like play it. Like it's this weird. I don't know. It's just one of those games where like it dives into a genre you don't really care for, but it's cool enough to where like you'll play it from time to time. So
it kind of like piqued your interest in the sense.
Yeah. So that's kind of those are the Nintendo games I've been playing. I'm thinking about booting up. I play a little bit of ARMS too because they had that last update a couple weeks ago, and ARMS is still really good, by the way.
Need to pick that up in Splatoon too.
So those are kind of the games I've been playing. I've been like, now that I've charged my 3DS and opened it for the first time in a couple months, like I've been thinking about diving into some virtual console games like Link to the Past. I want to play because they're re-releasing a Link Between Worlds as a Nintendo Select, and like I'd never finished a Link Between Worlds, but I know it's great, and I played it, and I was like, I want to play a Link to the Past before I play this game.
See, I have it on my Wii U, so that's why I wouldn't get it on my 2DS.
Well, I already had it. I already have it. Like, I have a ton of virtual console games on my 3DS because, like, right now that's the only place you can get them unless you have your Wii or Wii U hooked up, and it's like, well, I guess I'll play, like, I'll play my NES and Super Nintendo games on this, and then I'll play my Nintendo 64 games on my Wii U.
Yeah.
Just because that's how I would rather play like the 8-bit and 16-bit games in handheld form. But yeah, man, I think I'm gonna start cracking open some classic games. I really want to. So
yeah, it's just my 2DS is new. I haven't really bought anything. But
right, you have
I keep looking
Pokemon one.
Right, but I've been looking at that Mega Man Legacy for 3DS, and might pick it up. I know it's $20, but I'm just like, I could hold out for this.
Yeah, but it's coming to Switch though. You don't want to buy the 3DS version. Yeah, you can play it on that glorious screen. Yeah.
But it's like I own like Mega Man 1 to 3 on Wii U, and it's just like that's the only one I'm gonna be playing a lot between those three. But I'm definitely I think I'm gonna try to do 4 to 6 because those are games that haven't beat. Well, 4 to 7, I should say.
Yeah. So, so that's kind of what we've been playing. I don't know. Man, every time there's too much to play, and I'm like, I can't just keep jumping back and forth. I need to focus. That's a problem with these games that you can just simply download for a cheap price. Is like,
yes,
you just download them, and then like over the course of like 2 or 3 months, you gather a pool of like it's 8 or 10 games that you're like, oh, I've dabbled in this, I've dabbled in that. Then you're like overwhelmed when you like don't have anything to play, and you're like, I have all these games that I never finished, and what do I play? I'm overwhelmed. I'll just play something else. I'll just go back to Zelda and finish it.
Or you feel overwhelmed and then you just buy more games.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, man, I need to finish Mario plus Rabbids. I need to finish I want to play a little bit more ARMS because I at least want to finish Ribbon Girl's
story.
Well, not her story. I want to finish like her loadout because I only need like I probably only need like 5 or 6 more pieces, but like, man, they just keep adding them. They just keep adding stuff, and I'm just like, I just want to play, but like, it's the Mario Kart factor where you can only play so much with, you know, by yourself before you're like, I've played a lot of this by myself, and like, you know, I'm lucky enough where my wife likes Mario Kart, but like, ARMS is a totally different beast. So, but yeah. Anyways, games, too many games. So we're gonna get into our news bits here. So our first story, Nintendo is already being open about the sequel to Breath of the Wild, as the company wants the next 3D Zelda on Switch. Now, I know this isn't news in particular, but you know, they are up for some Game of the Year awards coming up in the near future, and the thing is, they've been very open and candid about what they want from this game. So the GDC awards are coming up, and Zelda is going up against Horizon in a lot of categories, and there's some interviews about you know, Horizon versus Zelda, what they think about the games and stuff, and it's like, well, who's going to win Game of the Year? And I mean Zelda. But later, they were speaking to IGN, and Eiji Aonuma gave a firm answer when it came to how the team wanted to deal with Link's games in the future. And it actually goes pretty deep. So I'm going to read some of these quotes here, and then we're going to talk about it, because I think it's pretty fascinating. And the fact that they talk about the engine, they didn't want to create this engine just for one game like they have been. Because, you know, besides Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, they've literally created a new engine from the ground up for each new Zelda game, and that's why they have different art styles. And so I'm just going to read a little bit. You know, I can't speak for what other companies will do with their own games, but I'd like to think, for me, especially just in terms of the Zelda series, the incredible freedom that this game offers you and how well it has been received. To me, it's been that freedom, that level of freedom is something that needs to be maintained in Zelda games going forward. Ed was making some noise. I got scared. Oh. I thought you fell down.
No. My cord to my headset hit my microphone stand.
Oh, okay. And then he goes on to say, my eyes have been opened to how important that freedom is. So one of the things we definitely consider is that we always wanted to make sure the player could understand what their challenge is or what their hurdle is. We always wanted to make sure the challenge could be challenged. So we always wanted to make a linear way of overcoming the hurdle. He went on to talk about how the freedom has been well received, and how, you know, maybe the linear path wasn't the best idea. There's more coming in the Breath of the Wild master books. You know, the titles of those art books and storytelling books are in progress. And then he goes on to talk about how he doesn't want fans to wait that long, and he wants the next game to be on Switch, and he hopes that it'll be out sooner than the last game. So he wants it out sooner than 5 years. So it's interesting because they talk about some of the translation is off here, but he does talk about the engine and how they really want to reuse this engine and really create, you know, have even if it's not the same, you know, quote unquote art style, they want to use this engine because it helps them create a world that's as vast as Hyrule was. So, and he talks about, he keeps using the word sequel, which means like, do we go back to Hyrule in this art style? Do we see something new like Termina? Do we see one of the handheld worlds being visited? What do you guys think about this talk of a kind of like a semi-sequel / using the same engine for the game to get speed up production and stuff like that?
Well, I think they spent a long time making this engine.
And
doing the physics.
It's a great engine.
Yeah, you know, using the old regular Legend of Zelda to build Breath of the Wild. So now they got stuff in place. They're able to expand on that. So ideas that didn't make it in this game, now that they fully got an idea of how everything works, they could put it on there. And we know that the Legend of Zelda usually gets many delays. So it usually ends up being like a 5-year game in the making. And if they could cut it down to 3 years, like if they could get it to 2020 or 21, and it it just shows the creativeness and innovation that Nintendo's known for. If it could showcase that using this using this engine, yeah, I'm all for it. Now, what story are they willing to tell? Who knows? Is this gonna be a sequel to what happens after Genus defeated and a new threat is coming, and that threat is going to expand on the next 100 years. So, we don't know where they could take this at. And will the sequel, does it need to fit any of the timelines of Zelda? Yeah. Of the Zelda franchise. So they're probably doing some research and development. They probably are fooling around with different art styles. I think now that they understand how to develop something for Switch, because this was kind of mostly a port from the Wii U, I think from the ground up, designing the game, they're going to be able to perfect some things and do something that we didn't know that they could do. Because the HD Rumble, they're going to take that really big into consideration. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be swinging swords and stuff like that, but just think of Nintendo Lab still being around and playing using like that for a mini game or a dungeon or whatever. They could create a lot of ideas for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. What about you, Jesse?
Yeah, it's good news in my opinion, because I just love the way that this Zelda, that Breath of the Wild, the way it looked and how it felt, and I was kind of hoping that this was going to be the case, that we would maybe get like a Majora's Mask where we would get something in the same kind of idea or concept as the one is Breath of the Wild, because with with Ocarina of Time, I loved that game so much, and then when they did the Majora's Mask and kind of kept it similar, and like kind of felt the same, like you didn't have to relearn how to play, it kind of just worked the same as that. It was nice. So I'm definitely looking forward, regardless, I'm looking forward to what they do. If they continue to do the whole open world thing, I'm just excited to see what comes next.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was a great idea, and for us to be able to get a Zelda sooner is just better for everyone. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't wait for I hope what Ed and I talked about, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 months ago at this point, is I want them to use the same engine, but I want them to experiment with color palettes. Like, we saw a lot of greens and blues in this version, and brown, to kind of offset, but I want them to explore color palette of purples and black and red, and a darker tone in this art style, because I think that would be really cool. It'd be similar to like Jesse said, a Majora's Mask, or I don't know, maybe take on some sort of Minish Cap, or I think in terms of art style, if this was a Skyward Sword-esque art style, a brighter, more kind of whimsical, kind of brighter. I mean, not that the story was bright, but the feeling of the game was bright and optimistic and whatever. And so if you make a darker game with this art style, I think it would really fit too. So, and there's glimpses of it, when you get to Ganon's castle, and you're like either climbing one of the walls or you get up closer to the top of the castle. You know, the sky kind of turns red, or you see the purple swirling around the top of the castle, or you know, you see that glimpses of it. But I would like to see the whole world kind of set that way. So we'll see.
Yeah, and well, one thing I would really like to see in it is like, you know, we kind of get a glimpse of what Hyrule, you know, the castle and everything, when it's like fully intact before it gets destroyed and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to play like a game where, you know, play that in that world when everything is all intact. And, you know, maybe if they did have some kind of like storyline where it was like you're playing before everything gets taken over by Ganon or whatever, and have it like start out like, you know, bright and all that stuff, but then turn more into a darker game as you progress through the storyline or something. You know, I mean, there's a couple of ideas that I could think of that would be kind of neat, but
yeah,
it would, you know, if they did kind of mix the two.
Yeah.
I kind of would like to see the return of the Triforce.
Yeah.
And actually see not see how it came about with the Great Fairies and stuff like that, but kind of see what actually happened for the Triforce to go away. Because they never, I think after Link Between Worlds, A Link to the Past, I think that was the last time they used the Triforce, like the pieces and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, the last couple Zelda games, like the Triforce has been more of like a symbol within the game instead of like an object that has been passed to each of the characters, you know, and it's like we all know like where the pieces, who owns what pieces, but like how do the goddesses decide to break them up? And maybe the next round of like dungeons or divine beasts or whatever, like the equivalent of that in the next game has the pieces of the Triforce, like really go back to Zelda 1 and like you're actually putting together a piece of the Triforce or the Triforce, you know, by beating the dungeons. And like maybe another thing I would like to see them do is like explore how far they can push shrine puzzles, you know, like I think the shrines were easily the best part of this game. Besides the exploration, like the shrines are easily the best part of the game. And so I would like them to really like dig deep and be like, how far can we push these shrines? Like, can we get 150 shrines in there this time instead of 120? How do we create more creative puzzles? How can we get systems to work better within the shrines? You know, like, I think it'd be really cool. And, you know, the DLC, I think, had some of the best shrines the game had to offer. You know, so I don't know, man. There's a lot they could do with a sequel now that they kind of have a good foundation. They can start finally digging deep into the engine and squeezing a lot of juice out of it.
One last thing for me. I wonder what would happen if Ganon used the Triforce to make his own evil weapon, his own Master Sword. I wonder what story they could tell with that.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't that just be the Sword of the Seven Sages? Isn't that like his weapon? Where like in the one timeline when he's slayed the sages and that's how he took over? Or is
that separate? I think that's separate from the Triforce.
I know it is, but I was thinking of Ganon's weapon in particular.
Oh, Ganon's weapon. Yeah. Or Ganondorf, because I think Ganondorf is the ultimate.
Ganon's the ultimate form. Ganondorf is the thief, like the heir, I guess you would call it, that becomes Ganon. You know, it's I mean, Ocarina of Time story, I think, kind of explains it the best. But
okay,
yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna move on to this next story. This one, not a really big story, but Metroid Prime Metroid Prime 4 was announced at E3, and I know we're all excited. And it's just a little bit of a rumor of when we might see some sort of like trailer drop with, you know, characters in it instead of a logo and who's developing it and stuff. We know the project's being led by series producer Kensuke Tanaba, and it says a talented new development team. Together, they are hard at work to bring action, isolation, and exploration to the Metroid Prime universe and bring it to life on Nintendo Switch. The rumor is that Nintendo has formed a team that they formed a team to collaborate with a new team from Namco Bandai to help create Nintendo Switch games specifically, and their first project is Metroid Prime. So it seems that they might be in bed with Bandai Namco again. You know, they did work on Smash and now Metroid. That'd be a interesting kind of fit. The trailer, they say, is supposed to drop in the next real Nintendo Direct, and which we've kind of predicted is February, and a lot of people are saying that it's coming either at the end of January or at the beginning of February. Mm-hmm. You know, I always love a good Direct. You know me, Ed. I love a good Direct rumor.
Yes, I know. So,
some people estimate that it's an earliest late 2018, but you know, I think we all think it's coming. I think we all think it's next year's holiday game, 2019's holiday game. So, little tidbits. Just we are aware that there are some key. Reggie, there's an interview with Reggie when he was asked about a new Metroid game prior to the release of the Nintendo Switch. And he said, "We are aware that there is some key IP that consumers just can't wait for the next true installment in that franchise legacy. Suffice to say, we're aware of it, and talk to me in a year, and let's look back and see what happened." That was exactly 1 year and 4 days prior to the Metroid Prime 4 announcement. So, just some interesting tidbits. But when do you guys expect to see a real Metroid Prime trailer, quote unquote?
April or E3.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know. I don't really care. I just know it's in development. So, like, whatever. Take your time. Guys, it's a slow news week. I couldn't help it. I had to put a Metroid Prime story in there, okay?
Well, I think the thing with Metroid Prime 4 is, does it stay in first person? Because Namco Bandai has no experience with first-person shooters.
I'm kind of in the same boat as you on that, but at the same time, I think Metroid Prime has kind of established itself as the first-person Metroid side of the franchise, and then, you know, there's the 2D Metroids, and then there's, you know, what I wish they would kind of revisit the perspective of Other M, and kind of like. I don't think
full action.
Here's the thing. I don't think Other M is as bad as a lot of people say it is. I actually like that game a lot, despite like people's complaints about it. But
yeah,
I think if they revisit, I think they could do like the 2D Metroid style of game in a 3D space. You know, a game that does it really well is Arkham Asylum. Batman Arkham Asylum, I think, is a really good 2D Metroid in a 3D space. Like I think that is one of the best examples we have of that. I would really like to see that explored again. Not that Metroid Prime isn't great, not that the 2D Metroids aren't great. I think a third person action game with backtracking and smart weapon upgrade design and stuff like that, I think that would really work in this space, you know. And I don't know, man. I would like to see that, but yeah, Metroid.
Jesse, thoughts?
Yeah, obviously I'd like, you know, I hope that we see a trailer for it sooner than later. But yeah, I mean, you know, at the same time, you don't want them to rush anything. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to kind of see what, what direction they're gonna go in, or like what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as like something that I would like to see, I think I would kind of like Corey said, I'd like to see even something different, or like even like a third person like style like game, like where like I don't know what to really as a comparison, maybe like the Division or something like that, like where your work can play in that third style and have like I don't know, I guess the Division would be kind of like that kind of style of game would be kind of neat in a Metroid Metroid world where you've kind of
like a little bit over the shoulder or just
yeah, like basically the like exactly like Division or Wildlands or whatever you want to use. I think Division is more of the style I'd like, or is more, it gives you more of an idea of what I would like it to look like where just where you'd basically be in the world of Metroid, but but like you'd have all your power-ups and things like that you can upgrade and kind of switch between things, and using your rolling the ball and stuff like that to be able to get to certain areas. And I mean I haven't really played a Metroid game in a long time. Like the only one I think I've ever really owned was the one for Game Boy, I think. I've played them, but
Super Metroid, not Super Metroid, Metroid 2, The Return of Samus.
Yeah, I think that's the one. I just remember having one on Game Boy, but
Game Boy.
I think I played Prime 1.
That's
maybe
GameCube.
Prime. Yeah, I played that one, and then I did play the one on Wii, I believe. But again, I didn't really own any of them. But I played them, and I do like the Prime games. I just my issue is like with a lot of my Nintendo systems. Like at the time, I didn't have a lot of money, and like so, a lot of times I would end up getting a Nintendo system, and then I would have to sell it eventually if I wanted to upgrade or get money for other things. And so unfortunately, a lot of times my Nintendo systems would end up getting sold, and I wouldn't end up getting a lot of the games that I originally wanted for them. But
oh no.
Yeah, but that's going forward now with my Switch, I'll never get rid of it. That's gonna stay permanently. So I'm definitely looking forward to this new Metroid, because I do like the Metroid games, and I do like the character, Samus, and it's definitely something that I'd like to get into more now. So
yeah,
but yeah, I'm looking forward to just seeing what it is, like what we're gonna be getting. So I'm excited, and I want something to come sooner, but at the same time, like I said, you don't want them to rush it and then just give us something that doesn't really show us anything at all, So
yeah. I mean, like you said, I think the Division, like a Metroid kind of Division thing would be kind of cool, and like having it set in kind of like a open space and actually like have like bounties to go get. Like you are a bounty hunter, and they don't, like, as much as they like to say she's a bounty hunter, there's not really a game where you're going out and collecting bounties to turn into upgrade stuff. Like that would be a cool way to, like, you could incorporate the 2D 3D Metroid space, and like you need to get this weapon to get through this space, but that's also a cool way to add RPG elements to it, where like you go out and do these bounties to upgrade the weapon that you just found and make it stronger or make it do different things. Like there's some cool things they could do with that.
Yeah, because
and that's what I told Oh, 1 second. Sorry, Jesse, to interrupt. That's what I said on last time when we talked about Metro Prime 4, was that I visioned Samus going on a bounty hunt. Like, we haven't had that. And her getting new powers. Like, I would love for that. You get your bounty, you turn it in, and they offer you new powers.
Yeah, and I think, like, if they did do the whole division style, like, set up a layout of the maps and stuff, then like, you do have your chance to power things up, and then that gives, like, that would kind of help with the whole upgrading things, because then that gives the replay value of certain areas of the maps and everything. Like, there'll be things that you could see that you can't get to until you upgrade. So it would give you a reason to go back into certain areas of the maps, to go and get things that you couldn't get earlier because you didn't have, the ability yet or whatever. So, like, I don't know. I just feel like that style of game could really push Metroid to its full potential of, like, what it can offer, and really, I think that would be a good way to give you a good story too at the same time, like, just to really show off all aspects of the Metroid world. So
yeah, so I mean, we'll see what this Metroid offers, but there's also that rumor that a 2D Metroid is also in development, so we'll see if that rumor turns into anything, but we'll obviously keep you posted on this show, because that's what we do.
Yes.
So,
which would be good, because I'd hate to buy one but honestly, I would like to get a 3DS or the new 2DS just to play that new Metroid game, because it looks so good.
Yeah.
The 2D one. So.
Yes.
So the next story, we got a sad bit of news here. Legendary cover artist Bob Wakelin passes away, leaving behind a legacy of amazing covers. You might not know him by name, but you probably know his cover art. He did titles such as Contra, Rainbow Islands, The New Zealand Story, Mr. Nuts, Midnight Resistance, Batman, Whizball, Head Over Heels, and Hunchback, just to name a few. So, yeah, man. And we're starting to get to that point where the industry is sadly getting to that point where we're starting to lose major influencers in the industry. A couple years ago was Iwata. A couple prominent designers in the past few years have passed away. This is just another sad moment in this young industry. So
yeah,
those NES cover arts, man. She's got some fantastically awful box art, but there's some really good box art out there that's just, yeah.
But box art used to be what sold you on the game. It had his work, just had like a comic sense to it, like a very, very detailed comic sense to it. So, yeah, it's sad that he left, and I think people should go out and check some of his covers and check out the history and the work that he did, because, being known for Contra, yeah, I'm like, that's cool. Because you really don't know about who did the box art. You just see the box and be ready to play the game. Mm-hmm. But, if you didn't have good box art or box art that stood out, you wouldn't be interested in that game. Right. AKA Mega Man. The first one.
Yeah. Man. Remember when they added old washed up Mega Man 1 box art Mega Man and Tekken, or Street Fighter Cross Tekken or whatever?
Yeah.
Or like Marvel vs. Capcom or something, one of those games. Oh, that's bad. So, Yeah, so the last news story here, not really Nintendo related, but it's Pokemon related. Ken Watanabe joins the Detective Pikachu movie. The Hollywood Reporter is reporting that the Detective Pikachu's cast now includes Ken Watanabe, who will play Detective Yoshida, a character exclusive to the film. Watanabe joins Ryan Reynolds, who will be playing the titular role alongside Justice Smith and Catherine Newton. The movie is being directed by Rob Letterman of Goosebumps and is being written by Nicole Perlman, who co-wrote Guardians of the Galaxy. So this movie is shaping up to be one weird movie that
I'm going to see day one.
Dude, I feel like this movie is not going to be for kids for some reason.
I don't care. I hope this thing get a midnight release like on a Wednesday or Tuesday. I'm going to see this day one.
So, I mean, this movie just, every time I see something about this movie, it's just like, it's getting weirder and weirder. We got Deadpool playing Pikachu. We have, Guardians of the Galaxy writers. It's just...
But would it not be a Nintendo movie if it didn't have wacky stuff to make it a Nintendo movie?
Fair enough. Fair enough. So
got Pikachu being a detective. Ain't that weird enough?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's weird. Jesse, what do you think about the Detective Pikachu movie?
I don't know what to think about it.
Jesse's just like, sure. Sure.
Of course, Jesse's statement is Pika Pika or
Pika.
Man, this is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it. And I guess once we get like a trailer or something, I'll have a little bit more of an idea of what I think about it. But at this point, yeah, it could either be just a complete mess,
I'm going to like literally just buy my popcorn and nachos like real quick and drink and sit in the corner somewhere so I'm not distracted by these nagging kids. Be like, shut it, shut it up.
Like the way it sounds now is it's like, are we gonna get like the live action Scooby Doo or?
It seems that way.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get into our question block. Remember, you can email the show at nintendopowblock@gmail.com or follow us on various social media or subscribe to our YouTube page and leave a comment on the previous episode, and we will try to get to your question during the question block. So we have a very interesting question that I've actually been pondering for about a week or so on this question, and I didn't bring it up because I want to know what your guys' reactions are. And Deshaun Malone writes in and asks, what do you think Nintendo could do with a real successor to the 3DS? I'm going to start because I have a really kind of amazing thought on this.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think Nintendo could probably benefit from a kind of kids-focused $100 handheld by bringing back the Game Boy line. I think, have it like kids are used to playing on tablets and phones. What does the phone look like? What does a phone have the shape of? A Game Boy, right? You add buttons on there. You can have touchscreen if you really want to, but I think you get the Game Boy line back. It's not a very powerful device. It has a kind of like probably like a widescreen-ish, like a 16:9 screen on it on the top, but it's still shaped like a Game Boy, and like simplify it, maybe 4 buttons, maybe an analog stick, maybe just a D-pad, whatever. It plays retro style games, indie games, maybe bring NES and Super Nintendo Virtual Console to it. Like, this thing could be as simple as it possibly can be, and it would just play simple games. You wouldn't get like a full-fledged Zelda game on here, but you could get Virtual Console on here. You could get indies on here. You can get mobile ports or whatever if you really need to. Like, you know, like I think they could really do something really cool with a cheap $99 device that can connect to the internet to download games. You know, use the micro SD card system that you've been using with 3DS and Switch, and make a cheap Nintendo eShop for these games. And like, these games would also be purchasable on Switch. It would all tie to your Nintendo account. But yeah, I would really like to see a simplified version of a Game Boy come out for $99 and play simple games, indie games, stuff like that. Yes. Nailed it. Nailed it. And have the games be anywhere between like $5 and $20. They'd be like real cheap, you know? And like real kid friendly. You know, and I know this kind of goes against what they're trying to do with the Nintendo Labo stuff right now. But to be fair, I was thinking about this before they announced the Labo stuff. But I think it'd be cool. I really think it'd be a cool idea to bring back the Game Boy in some kind of weird retro way. Ed doesn't like my idea. That's what he does.
No. Your idea is good. I can see that probably happening in the future. I can see that. I think with them seeing the success of the 2DS, and I do agree with you going back to the Game Boy line. I think most of it is going to be touch still, you know, kind of still touch base. There's something about just going back to GameCube is making me think for some reason that system. You
could even do it like Game Boy Advance style. Like, sorry, I didn't mean to like interrupt you.
Oh no, you're right. I can see it doing Game Boy Advance style. That's fine. I'm thinking that it has a touchscreen base, and some people might say this is going to be more Switch, but more ways that it comes actually now with the controller, and you could still be, if you own a Nintendo Switch, you could dock it on the Switch if you want to charge it. And or you know, connect it to your computer, you know, charge it that way to the old wall or something. It'd be a little bit smaller than the Switch in a sense, but this one is kind of like CD based, where if you enter it in one way, you hit another place to enter it out. So in case if you drop it, it doesn't fall out. Like it has just an interest in the exit. It sounds weird, but you know, them just doing something. If they want to play, they could hold the screen and, you know, switch it sideways. That if they want to have a game, like let's say they use it for a DS or 3DS, like they still have a cartridge base for it. The line is like split inside the system. So you don't actually have the hardware splitting it. So if you feel like doing like a touch-based thing, or if you like say like Hotel Dust 213, you already have that split in like in a certain way, so you can still be able to do it. I think the control will still be 4 buttons. With the L and R, but if you have a control, I think if they provide a controller, make it like $149.99, like a little smaller controller, I can see them going that route. Them going back to CD for this new for the new handheld, but they just have like a different ways to get out. So the CD, like I said, goes in the entrance and then exits out on the other way. So if they drop it, nothing like actually falls out and they get damaged.
Yeah. What about you, Jesse?
I think probably their best bet going forward, because they're kind of in a predicament right now, because like there's not a whole lot that they can do in between. Like, like you've got the Switch that basically can be handheld, and you've got the 3DS, which, like, I guess they could maybe make it a little bit more powerful than the 3DS. Sorry, but then they're kind of getting too close to what the Switch is. So, like, I think what the best thing to do moving forward would be to make it where... Sorry, hold on.
Jesse's trying to...
Dying over here. I got tickling in my throat.
I made him talk too much. Tonight, Ed.
Hold on, I'm going to take a drink.
Made him talk too much tonight.
Think of Nintendo loves to use old tech. So what old tech, maybe from 3 or 4 years ago, can Nintendo use in that way?
Well, I'm thinking more of them going the route of making something that would be completely compatible with the Switch, like just basically like like the 3DS or whatever now. Like, not change it that much. Just, maybe make it a little bit more powerful so the games can be a little bit bigger, but not necessarily, more, like, better graphic-wise. But make something that, like, where even, like, let's say you could even use the Switch, like, Joy-Cons with it, as an alternate way to play certain things or do certain things in the games, and just basically make something that's kind of like complements the Switch but is still its own thing. Like, just have it. I think it just, you'd want something that can kind of like they can communicate with each other. Like, let's say, like, kind of like, I think the best way for them to go would be to kind of almost do like more like the Vita is for PlayStation, where certain indie games and stuff that you can play on the Switch that aren't exactly like, high graphics and all that stuff, you'd be able to like play in between the two. Like, certain games you'd be able to play on the new. And I do think it would be cool if they went back though to the Game Boy like name. Instead, like, went back to Game Boy and made it like basically a newer Game Boy that's more advanced. And then so have it like, so certain games you could play on your Game Boy that you can own on your Switch as well. Like,
so like crossplay.
Just basically have it like make something moving forward that will kind of go into this next generation of the Nintendo systems and be able to communicate with, and have like, they could even have it where like certain Switch games, kind of like you had with the Wii U, where people could do certain things on the tablet in game, and then everyone, like with the Mario Party game, you had where the person who had the tablet could be Bowser or whatever, and they could, do stuff and like basically play against the other players. And so you could have it where the new Game Boy system or the new, whatever handheld would be able to be like a controller for certain games on the Switch.
Yeah.
So, basically just kind of make it like, bring it into the next generation of the Nintendo, systems, but still have it its own thing, but it can be used for much more. If you own the Switch, then you can use it for certain things on the Switch as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be cool, actually. That's cool. Man, Jesse should come on more often. He's got so many good ideas. Maybe he should run the show. All right, we're going to move on to our next question from Marcus Shaw. Can Switch realistically outsell PS4 Do you think it has the same mainstream appeal? I think a lot of people, and I think this is how. I don't know if Nintendo I mean, I think it has the possibility of outselling PS4. I think Nintendo has a hit with Switch, but it's going to be close if they like. I think the sales are going to be closer than people originally anticipated. I think a lot of people either buy just a PS4 or just an Xbox One, and the Switch is the complementary console to the other one. And by the Switch being people's second console, I think that's how they win, because if you have an Xbox One or a PS4 only, you get the Switch as your complementary console, and that's how they kind of sneak in there and win. So that's my idea. What do you think, Ed?
Oh,
you're just staring.
I thought Jesse was going to say something, so that's why I waited. Okay. Yes, I think the Switch it will outbeat the PS4 and can be out the PS4. As for mainstream appeal, yes, it does have it. PS4 won by Microsoft's mistake, and there's really PS4 has a limit appeal to themselves, because pretty much if we talked about this in Arsenal X, if the online functionality or the internet goes down, your PS4 is pretty much worthless if you're just an online multiplayer kind of person. If you're a person who don't believe in playing in single player games and stuff, well, that system doesn't work for you. Yeah, you can use your phone, but that's your data plan or something getting jacked up, regardless of whether you use it. Where at least with Switch, you could continue your gaming from your car, meaning that you could use your car's battery and charge it through, and fully charge your Switch and play it in the house while your electricity is down. And for a person who really loves the game, that appeal would stand out more than just sitting close to your system that has always got to be connected. Secondly, I think Sony and even Microsoft don't have a lot of games that appeal to a lot of ages for a lot of gamers. If you talk about the hottest games for PS4, you might get 4 or 5 titles. At least with Switch, you can have a bigger discussion on how many games are on the system, and that's something everybody's going to enjoy and play. You don't hear nobody talking about Stardew Valley on PS4. You don't hear people being excited about Doom and Wolfenstein when they got announced. People are talking more about Nintendo, which makes people want the system more. PlayStation 4 is good. It's not great. They have some great exclusive third-party games. But how long does those third-party games resonate with a lot of players? That it stays in the library. Compared to where Nintendo, if you don't get that game when it comes out and that print is over, and you don't do digital games, you're going to have to up some money to get a physical copy.
Yeah.
And I think the Switch is just going to just stand out more. Sony is running on a safe net, and if they don't innovate for PlayStation 5, it's just going to be it's another PlayStation machine that plays third-party games and that makes games look good. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesse, how do you feel?
Yeah, I kind of like you said, Corey. I mean, if every person who owned only a PlayStation bought a Switch, and everyone who only owned an Xbox bought a Switch, well, that's, everyone buying a Switch, essentially. So, yeah, they could definitely take the lead, I think, because like there, and like the thing that's the Switch did that really hasn't been done in a long time, since probably like well, let's see, did Super Nintendo only come with one controller?
Came with two.
Did come with two?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, like the thing that Switch, going back to like having, I mean, like out the box, the Switch, you can play two people. Like two people can play the same game out of the box. You don't have to go buy another controller, because the way the Joy-Con system is set up, those can individually be two different controllers. And for them to do that, like, because no one's really doing that anymore, and so that's another reason for you hear people talking about the couch co-op going away, and it seems like Switch is kind of trying to go back to doing that couch co-op. And, it just seems like Switch is kind of offering things that people have kind of been missing for a long time. And so I think, like, they have set up a really good case for themselves to be able to sell, a lot. And so I just do think with everything that they're doing and the success that they've already had, I could definitely see them outselling the PlayStation 4 eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many reasons to own one.
I know.
To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, Jesse. I think the Switch does something unique and offers enough variety that's different from PS4 and Xbox, to be honest with you, that it's a great complementary second console to people who only want to play PlayStation or only want to play Xbox, to where if they're not at their primary console, this is, I mean, look, I think you're an example where you primarily play Xbox, but you bought a Switch and love playing it, and Ed and I are different, where the Switch is kind of our primary box anyway, but I mean, we're clearly in the minority, I think, but
and the only reason it's not a primary for me is I just have more games on my Xbox. If I could afford to buy more games for the Switch, I probably would be playing it 10 times more than I do right now. But it's just a matter of, because the Xbox One is how old now, and I've been able to gain, but if Nintendo does have a system like the Games Pass for Xbox, where they have a bunch of games that I can download and play, well, then I could see me switching over to my, playing my Switch more. So it's just a matter of once my game library builds up on it, I'll play it more and more. So
right, yeah, yeah. So I was going to read this last question, but I think I'm going to save it, because I think it's going to be I think this could qualify as an expansion pack question, because it's really good, and I think we'd have a really good answer for it. So I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it and call it an episode here.
Okay.
But yeah, this has been a really fun episode. I didn't think we were going to get to record tonight, and now I'm really happy that we did.
Yay.
You can email us your questions at nintendopowblock@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at NGRPowblock, or on Instagram at Nintendo Pow Block. Join our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Nintendo Pow Block. Look for the question block feeds in the groups or on Twitter or whatever. We like to do the question block segment, and we like to save up the questions, so we have, sometimes we like to do full question block episodes and stuff. So email us your questions, get them to us. We'll read them on one of our many shows. Yeah, you can find Nintendo Pow Block on your favorite podcast service on Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Although I'm thinking about changing the time that they go up. I think I'm going to change it to like 7 or 8 a.m. Because I've been experimenting with NGR proper, and it seems more people like to listen to it early. If they can get it early, they'll listen to it. So I'm putting the newest episode up at 7 a.m. So you might be getting it earlier. So remember, you can check out Nintendo Mini Blocks. Ed and I are experimenting with that. And then Expansion Pack, which is our Monday at noon Nintendo segment on our YouTube page. If you want to watch that, head on over to the Nerds Gone Rogue YouTube page and like, subscribe, and share. And also leave us questions in the comments of that as well. We'll get to it. We got many more things planned, but until then, Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatRetroCode, and check out my podcast, Optional Opinion, on SoundCloud and other podcast apps.
Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at @sub_humanist.
Ed, you need to take notes from this guy.
What? Shoot, I have shortened my list,
true.
haven't I?
That's very true. You're doing a great job. We did a short Arsenal X recording, the shortest one in a long time. You shortened this very. Ed's getting this time thing down. I'm just kidding, Ed.
Not really.
I just look. I love doing long podcasts. I don't know how much people like listening to long podcasts. I like listening to long podcasts, which is why I like it when we do long podcasts, because it makes me feel like I'm doing what I love. But
it's just we get caught up in a discussion. That's all.
I know.
I think that's the thing. It just depends on the topic. Like, there's certain things that we can go on for like 45 minutes on one question or one thing.
I'm just saying my favorite podcast right now is the Giant Bombcast, and some of their podcasts go upwards of 4 hours. So, their Game of the Year episodes averaged like 4.5 hours, and their last one was like 6 hours. So,
ooh,
it was amazing. It was amazing. So, I want to do that someday. We have a whole week of 4 to 5 hour podcasts for Game of the Year discussion. It's gonna be awesome. But you can find me at CorianHD on Twitter and Instagram, and you can find me on a plethora of NGR Radio shows. Download our family of shows: NGR Radio, Arsenal X, which is our Xbox podcast; Nerds Gone Platinum, which is our PlayStation podcast; World 1-1, and of course, Nintendo Pow Block. Like, subscribe, and share. Rate us on your podcast service of choice. Rate us, leave a comment. And until next time, we love you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Woo-hoo.